There's some issues up here that give us some features of a customized relationship. That we start with discovery, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, as compared to evaluation. The plan is the person's plan, and it's not just a plan that says, well, here's the job the person wants. It's actually a blueprint. It's more of how a builder would need to have all the ingredients before the house is built, not just the fact that you go to a builder and say, well, I need a home. Okay, no problem, I'll build you your home. We kind of do that a lot with competitive employment. Somebody comes back and says, well, here's the home I've built. It's a really well-built home. And you go, well, that's not at all what I wanted. You know, it's not the shape, it's not the color, it's not the materials, but it's a quality home. And we do a lot of that in the way we do job development. So a customized plan gets a little tighter. It allows employers to target specific areas of workplace need. The relationship is, and I hope will continue to be, voluntary. I'll tell you, we had our disability law before Britain got yours, and we had significant pushback from employers around the requirements that employers had. Now, those are great requirements. Those civil rights requirements in both of our laws are powerful. But if employers feel like they're being pushed, they'll sometimes push back, and they do it subtly, and they do it at the hiring office, and everything seems to be up front, but nobody's getting a job, and it's very subtle discrimination. The voluntary aspects of customized employment, I think, are part of its strength. I hope we don't put this into requirement, into obligation, into statute. I hope we keep it as a voluntary relationship. Another thing that's just is so important for both of us, and that is the degree to which we begin to have a conversation about disability, as opposed to couching it all in confidentiality and kind of behind the scenes. We've kind of let the whole thing of disability become like a tawdry secret, and I've got some sort of sexually transmitted disease I don't want anybody to know about, so you guys can't say it, you know? And when disability, in our country, we're trying to phrase it as a natural part of the human experience. I mean, it's a wonderful phrase to think about disability being just about who we are as people. It's not some aberration, it's just part of being a person. If you don't believe it, get as old as I am, or get as old as my father. You know, you'll see. It is. And I know you know that. But the point is that while we have laws that lead us to a confidentiality that is sometimes stifling almost, voluntarily, people can disclose positively what it means to have a disability, so employers understand what we understand. You know, we can't be the only people who understand what it means to have a learning difficulty, or what it means, as best we can understand, to have autism. The employers need to have some sense of that, you know, and there can be positive disclosure. Of course, it's got to be totally legal. It can only be voluntary by the individual. We can't make it so, but at least our opinion about that, our position on that is very important. In the States, just as we have a minimum wage, and we believe that minimum wage should not be a barrier to employment. And yet, in both of our countries, we also have what we could call a typical wage, and we have a range that we can negotiate pay quite legally. Now, this is going to differ between our countries. You'll need to figure that out here, just as we have in the States. But the threshold is minimum.